What's up, guys? It's Mike here. So, excuse me. I've been promising to do a video on headlight restoration, and so I'm choosing to do an older set of custom aftermarket headlights, because these most likely will go on my silver bends when it comes out of paint. Here's the other one. I haven't washed this one up yet, but definitely some scratches. They need restoration, you know. And if you can see the scratches there, and there's some down here. I mean, they're everywhere in the lens. So what we're going to do today is we're going to restore these bad boys, at least this one right here, for time's sake. So let's set this down, and let me show you what we're working with here. Let's see. So what I chose to use, which I always do, is this 3M Ultra Headlight Restoration Kit. At any rate, this kit runs about, I want to say, 24 bucks. And along with these kits, I always buy a 600, 1000, and 2000 grit sandpapers to go the extra mile, because you never get enough in these kits to do what you need. I think it goes from like 500 to 800, then it skips up to 3000 grit. So you want to really just get good sanding done to make them look really nice. And you know, it says UV protection for 2 years. Well, when these are done, if you take and you put little ceramic coating on top of it after the finish, you've got about 10 years of protection on your headlights. You won't be doing this often. So the things you'll need: some towels, you'll need a decent drill, a spray bottle with water, and for some of you guys, like myself, a little patience. So take care of this, and I'll get back at you and we'll start the restoration. Okay, so you'll get your little sandpaper holder bit and you'll chuck it in your drill. You'll want to make sure that none of the edges are allowing, see right there, that's a bit close. So you want to take this off, and you want to center that the best that you can, so that none of those Velcro eyes, loops or whatever you call them, catch the headlight lens, because they're just scratching them all over. So now it's good. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off with a 500 grit. I got my drill on the highest setting, the highest speed, and we're just going to take and we're just going to sand evenly across the headlight, even pressure. I recommend taking the headlight out because it's much easier and you don't have to tape the car off to worry about any paint scratches or nothing like that. So, and another note is the original headlights on these cars will have a weather strip right here, a rubber strip, and these little sandpapers here will cut the shit out of those. So if you do have that, you'll want to protect that as you're going, and be careful not to cut yourself with this paper too, because it can cut you while you're sanding. So nice. Even strokes. And this thing will catch, so you want to be careful for that. Trying not to let it happen, but it does happen. Just stay away from the edges the best you can. Don't let the center of the drill go past the edge, otherwise it'll catch. You want to take some time to dust off your paper as well. And the key is just trying to keep an even pattern while you're sanding. And then the thing I like to do, because these kits come with more than one pad, I like to make one run here, and then I'll take the old one off. Then I'll reach down here, grab another, place it on here, like I was saying earlier, nice and even. Because I don't want to scratch the headlight up even worse, you know. There we go. And now, what you'll want to do is you'll just want to go ahead and, with a dry towel, wipe off what you got. Look at how scuffed those things are, or this headlight is already anyways. So, and you want to start that process over again. It is really hard to keep that bit from jumping, I tell you. Right there, all this stuff here is just oxidation. It's going to look really terrible. Don't be worried about what you see. It's all about the end result, right? So they give you 6 pads in a kit. I'll use 3 of each on the same headlight, just to make sure that everything is sanded properly. Once again, I'm still on the 500 grit paper here. Okay, so now that I've gone over it thoroughly with the 500, what I like to do is I like to wet it down. And in this situation, I'm using a little bit of Windex with some water. And then what you want to do is just wipe it off thoroughly and make sure that that's dry to the touch before you proceed to the next step, which is the 800. But in my case, I did get a 600 paper, so I'm going to use that. And it's a wet sand, wet or dry. So what I'll do, and I have a little sanding sponge, but I won't use this. I'll just use it to wrap this up in. So I'll fold my paper in half. You see where I ripped it earlier. And then I want to use this as a dry sand. Fold that over like that so I can just hold it. And then I'll just go over it really well. Try to use a circular motion. Once again, keeping it nice and even. You don't really want to focus on something like, say, this right here. Had you focused on that, you'll wind up burning through the plastic with the paper. You just sand it and move on to the next stage is all you do, because that won't show when it's all said and done. So here I am, gonna just keep wiping this up here. Okay, so that will be it for the 600 stage. So I'll set that down. I'll wet it again. What you're doing is you're cleaning the dust off so it doesn't clog the next stage. You'll know it's dry when it looks like it's fogging up. It's not fogging up. What's happening is the moisture is coming off the lens and it's showing the scratches now very, very, very good actually. So it's scratch to hell, isn't it? Alright, so we're going to move on to the 800 grit stage. And it's the same thing, nice and even. And since I forgot to note earlier, I do use 3M sanding paper. Just makes sense, with you using a 3M product. They actually have very good products, actually. Move on to the next piece of 800 here. And now to the final 800. And we actually give you 4 pieces of 800, so maybe they don't expect you to use as much. So rather than to go back to the very first one, I'll just get back on my second one here and dust it off and keep at it. I do want to make another pass. Okay, now I'm going to use the same sponge that I used earlier, but I'm going to wrap 1000 grit, because basically what you're doing is you're polishing the plastic. So fold that up like such, and it's hard to get perfect circular strokes on a curved lens. You just got to do the best that you can do. Now I'll wipe that off. And then I will flip over to the clean side here. And I'll hit it again. Now, I'll move to the 2000 grit. And actually, with this being wet and dry, you could use water if you wanted to or not, but me, I like to use it at the last two stages, and these are the last two stages of sanding. So what I'll do now is I'll take a dry sand with the 2000. And then with the other half, I'll go ahead and make it a wet sand. And if you're going to do a wet sand, you want to make sure that the lens does stay wet. That's why they call it a wet sand. But I'm sure you guys are smart enough to figure that out, at least most of you. Now what we can do, we can set that down, and we can go ahead and use the 3000 grit. And this is strictly wet, so what you want to do is get it on there evenly once again, which it is. Gonna hit it with another spray. Then we're gonna You don't want to gouge that up too much. So we'll do it one more time. Oops, sorry about that. Okay, so here's the thing. Before you treat these lens, you have to wash them off real good. So what I intend to do, and I have to do both headlights, but for time's sake, I'm only going to do the first one in front of you guys, but I'll go ahead and do the second one before I put the treatment on it. Wipe these off real good. Then I'll take my dry lens here, or my dry rag I should say. Then, just to be on the safe side, I'm going to take a heating gun use a heating gun just to make sure that all that's dried up, and you can use a blow dryer if you don't have a heating gun. And now I'll get on with the second headlight. And when I get the other one done, I'll set them side by side, and we'll do the, well, I'll do each one for the finish and show you what it looks like. All right, so here we are, final stage. Both headlights are sanded. I'll treat both of them with the, what's called the headlight clear coat, okay? Now this has to have 2 coats, right? So this comes with 2 of these. Each one will do 2 headlights once. So, now the thing about this, it's key. You can't leave any streak marks on this or white bubbles. If you're doing that, then you're moving entirely way too fast. So we'll just do it just like such. And you want to have a small overlap. And you want to come back. Do it one more time just to make sure you got the whole headlight good. I'm starting to leave some white bubbles, so I want to slow down just a little bit. Now remember, this is the first coat, so you'll want to set that to the side. we'll do the second headlight. First coat. That was a little too fast, so I'll slow it down. Obviously, you don't want to knock your light off in the middle of doing this. And once again, you don't want to leave bubbles. So what we'll do is we'll let these dry. Then we'll hit them with their second coat. And then we'll show you what they look like. So now, I'm going to go ahead and apply the second coat. I want to be careful not to leave any runs. Now I did use a heat gun to aid in the dry time, which is 5 to 15 minutes, but it rained here earlier today, so just to be on the safe side. And we'll set this off to the side. And we'll do our next headlight. Like I said, you just want to take your time. Got to be patient, and you don't want to leave white bubbles like I just did, so you don't want to lift it off prematurely is what I'm getting at, I guess. I'm sure you want to be wearing gloves when you do this. Don't follow my lead. So we'll let this one sit and dry, and then we'll show you the results when they are dry. Of course, I'm going to give it a 24-hour cure so that I can wipe them off with a little bit of Windex, dry them, and then put a ceramic coat on the lens themselves to extend the life of the restoration. Alright guys, a little bit of dry time, and here we have it. So, is it better than new headlights? No, nothing's better than new headlights. Is it better than what they were before? Hell yes. It's a lot better than what they were before. So with the total cost of this, 24 bucks for the kit, another 30 bucks for the extra sandpapers. Trust me, those sandpapers come in handy. You know, to add to the extra steps in between, but there's your finished deal. They look very nice. And there you have it, folks. How to restore your headlights. Stay tuned for more videos.